This dedicated construct has been deteriorating in the vaults after being discarded. It still wishes to serve, although some glitches have crept into its personality matrix. Trilliax is excited to have some guests after all this time. Maybe a little too excited.
Trilliax has an ability which will split damage between the tank and his closest target, so your tanks will always want to be stacked. As he takes damage throughout the fight, arcane seepage will begin to puddle up nearby. It will damage any player standing in it. Move around the room, leaving a trail of these puddles behind. Trilliax has 3 modes which he will switch between.
During cleaner mode, he will launch out pieces of cake to random locations. They explode on impact, so be sure to avoid them. The cake will need to be eaten by players to ensure that raid-wide damage isn't triggered. When you eat a slice, you will receive a dot. On heroic, you will also become stuffed, slowing your movement speed and making you unable to eat another piece for 1 minute.
He will enter a cleansing rage and will destroy any food left over and will do a burst of damage for every piece destroyed, so be sure all pieces are consumed. He will also debuff random players with Sterilise, which will cause them to pulse with AoE damage to anyone within 7 yards. Move away from other players. You can use this debuff to your advantage when he shifts to Caretaker mode.
During this mode, he will summon scrubber bots, which will begin to tidy up the place. They would rather eat cake than clean up, so if there's any remaining pieces, they will go after them first. If they get to a piece of cake, they will blow up. If there isn't any cake, they will do their proper job and start cleaning up the seepage. This will cause them to gain energy, and if they get to 100, they will also explode. Players with the Sterilise debuff can stand next to them, which will drain their energy and increase their movement speed, enabling them to clean up for longer.
Trilliax will also throw out Succulent Feast during the phase, which when eaten will give a player a damage shield. It will allow that player to be able to stomp the cleaner, which will destroy them and interrupt the explosion cast.
Finally, Trilliax has a Maniac mode, which will cause him to cast the tank debuff ability more quickly, so watch for swaps. Mana Rupture will damage random targets frequently. He will bond players together, which will deal ticking damage if they are not close to each other. Finally, he will jump into the center of the room and fire a death laser beam and will begin to rotate. He can switch directions, so just be sure to keep moving. During this mode, it's a good idea to stack up as much as possible to help the raid heals and limit the damage from the bonds.
Keep your head as he switches between modes. Be sure to eat up all the cake.
Ooh, precious food!
Electrify the Roombas to make sure they continue to do their job, and you will decommission this buggy servant. This has been Tovo.
And Tatva, with 2-minute tips by Line of Sight Gaming. You can check out our other Nighthold guides by clicking on any of these links.
If you found this guide useful, please like and share this video. Subscribe to get notified of our future videos, and visit our Patreon page to help us continue to put out new content. Thanks for watching.
Ooh, that's good.